Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the last three formulas that were in the running for my fragrance project with 4,160 Tuesdays in London. If you guys are unfamiliar with this entire process, I will link all the videos below, but it is a passion project I had been working on, and then I decided to commission Sarah McCartney from 4,160 Tuesdays to create the fragrance, and I had an Indiegogo, and as soon as it was funded we started developing the fragrance, and so right now we're at the final stage. So I'm going to share with you guys these three fragrances, let you know what I think, and then let you know moving forward how everything's gonna go. First and foremost, again, a humongous thank you to Sarah for her generosity for making this project happen, and also to you guys who funded the project, shared the project, or just were encouraging throughout this entire experience. It's been super positive and amazing. To recap everything for you guys, this was an Indiegogo campaign to pre-order, and all profits after, you know, shipping, taxes, and the purchase of the bottles were made. All profits are going to charity. I want to be transparent with you guys completely. So once everything is paid for, once everything is shipped out, if any of you guys don't like the fragrance, again, you get little samples and you can return it. Once that's all done, the donation is hopefully going to go out in January or early February. I'm going to be very detailed and show you guys how much money went where and how much money is going to charity. So that way you guys can see that I'm not keeping anything. I want to be as transparent as possible. I was a little skeptical to do this because I don't want any of the fees from Sarah going out there, but she has been so ridiculously generous. So I just kind of wanted to also put that out there, that the cost to create this fragrance and this process, that's not how much it costs. There's a kitty up here. That's not how much it normally costs to do this. Sarah has just been very charitable with her time and resources. But that being said, because she's been so ridiculously charitable, more money is going to charity. And I think that you guys deserve to know how much is going to charity and the breakdown of everything. I don't want anything hidden, and I just want you guys to know. It's part of the beauty of this project was for kitties. And if you didn't know, the charity is Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida. It's a big cat sanctuary for abused and exploited big cats. Think tigers, jaguars, bobcats, and lions. And they also work to end the exploitation of the big cat trade through legislation and education. So that is the charity that I chose. And when the final fragrance is done, the last video of when I talk about the fragrance and everything like that, there's going to be a detailed list and telling you guys how much is going to charity and just the breakdown so that you guys understand. Because since no money is going into my account, I want you guys to know how much went to charity, not just me saying this much went to charity. But do understand, since I am going to be talking about how much I gave Sarah, that is her generosity and just her charitable donation to this cause. That doesn't mean that projects like this will be this cheap or the like. Just kind of want to throw that out there. And in case this is Pancakes, he's the most recent, he comes on my channel the most. He's not the most recent cat, but he is the sweetest. All right, so let's get into the fragrances, shall we? I'm gonna leave him on my lap because when he's like this, he will just jump on my lap. So a few weeks ago, I think a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than a month or a little bit less, a few weeks ago, Sarah sent me the first round of fragrances, the first fitting, as she said. And this was basically her taking my prompt of how I wanted the fragrance to smell and creating kind of 6 rough drafts. And if you didn't know about this fragrance, again, I have all the videos below. This video might be a little bit longer. This fragrance is a predominantly jasmine scent, but the jasmine is not like a jasmine that you find in a lot of floral scents. It's a little bit dirtier, it's a little bit grungier, it's not like a sweet, light floral scent. In fact, if you're unfamiliar with how that jasmine smells, you might not be able to pick up jasmine in the scent because there's a lot of complexity going on. But if you're familiar with that kind of more like dirty, grungier jasmine, you'll really be able to pick it up in the scent right away. The best way that I can describe that, I'm not saying that the scent smells like it, but it's a similar kind of not your run-of-the-mill typical jasmine, which I do love the way those smell too, let's be honest, is from État Libre d'Orange. It's Jasmine et Cigarette. And that's kind of like more of a dry, hay, ashy tobacco jasmine. And the scent is not taking any cues from that, except that I love the idea of jasmine not being your typical run-of-the-mill, really sweet, pretty white floral. I like it lending itself to something a little bit dirtier and more masculine. The scent is a unisex scent, and the primary notes in this are citruses, leather, and jasmine. And this is going to be a little bit more of a wild scent than a lot of people might be comfortable with wearing, but that's what I wanted. If you don't know, I really enjoy very avant-garde scents. I like scents that are a little bit harder to wear every day because there's a little bit more to them than just a mainstream composition. And there's nothing wrong with mainstream composition scents. I think that there's a beauty and an artistry to those, and there's a reason why they're mainstream. It's because a lot of people love them because they're just good fragrances. But for me, this particular project was about creating something out of the box. And that's particularly why I wanted Sarah to create this fragrance, because she has this amazing point of view when it comes to perfumery, to creating wearable fragrances that are out of the box, that are a little bit more whimsical, that are a little bit more cheeky. And that's what I wanted for this scent, which is why, and I reiterate this all the time, I get a bunch of people saying, I can't wait to smell it, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You might not like this, guys. This might not be for everybody, and that is okay. That is why every bottle is coming with a sample, and as long as you do not use the bottle, if you try the sample, if it's a little bit too bizarre for you, if it's a little bit too out of the box for you, or if you were expecting one thing and you got another, you can return it for a full refund as long as you do not use the full bottle. Because if I can resell the bottle or keep the bottle for a giveaway or something like that, then I will pay out of my pocket for that. That's totally fine, but you just can't use the bottle. So that's why everything's coming with a sample, and if you like it, great, but don't worry about hurting my feelings if you don't like it, because this is designed to be something that I like, and if you guys know, I like to smell a little bit crazy sometimes. So this video is long, this is kind of more of an update, but I've been wearing these scents all day, and I'm going to refresh the scents on me and kind of give you a little bit of a first impression. I will say one thing, each one of these scents is going to be it. I was so blown away by Sarah being able to really nail what I wanted in 2 goes. I was worried this was going to go back and forth 4 to 5 times or even more, and there was going to be, you know, not wasting this amount of time, but her resources and her time, because she has been so generous to try and really figure this out. But from the 6, the last time, there were 2 that really stuck out. That was like, this is so close. There's just a few little things I would want to change or remove or tweak. And so she took those. She's like, yes, we can do this. Maybe not this, but we'll try. And so she sent me 3 versions, and each of them are perfect. And I haven't quite decided which one's the most perfect. Now, I like to let the fragrances mature for a week or 2, so it's going to be at least 2 weeks before I make a decision. But one of these is going to be it, and I've been wearing them all day, and I've been so excited over this. So yeah, so let's get into it. So the code name for this project is Tiger. And so we have Tiger D, Tiger E, and Tiger F. And I'm gonna spray these. I have a little kitty in my lap, so I'm gonna try and spray away from him. He actually sits in my lap when I do decanting because for some reason, he actually likes it. I try to keep the cats away when I do that, but he just likes to sit. I don't know if you guys can see. There he is. There he is. So D is the one where the opening to me is one of the strongest from all, at this point, 9 different formulas. And I wear the old formulas, you guys. I love them. I had my mom try them, and she's like, you're giving me that one, you're giving me that one. They were all fantastic fragrances, and it's just finding the one that fits my vision and what I want this fragrance to be, which is why those were final first drafts. But this one, this is a beautiful, bright opening There's something in the opening that's a little bit juicy, a little bit juicier than the others, which I really like. This is a little bit cooler, like you know how some fragrances can have a warmth, some fragrances can have like a metallic coolness. This one kind of has a coolness to it, like not a warmth to it, but the opposite, which I think works really nicely with the jasmine and the leather. What I noticed when I first wore this scent was the opening in this one lasted the longest. And I would never tell anybody to judge a fragrance by the opening, because for the most part, it's only going to last a few minutes, maybe if you're lucky an hour, but the lifespan of the scent is really going to be the dry down. That's the most important part. And don't lick that. He's trying to lick where I sprayed the fragrance. He's a weird boy. This one, it has this really beautiful kind of crisp, slightly juicy citrus opening that lasts longer than any of the other fragrances. Now he's licking me. I'm sorry, guys. He's so cute. That lasts longer than the others, which I actually initially made me think it was going to be this one, because what I loved most about this scent and this idea for this scent was a beautiful citrus opening paired with leather. I wanted those two notes because you don't find a lot of citruses with like these rugged scents, or you do, but there's other notes in there that kind of negate the citrus. So it's like a grapefruit or a bergamot, but then you might have juniper and some like pepper in there. And not to say that those aren't beautiful, because I love those scents, but I wanted something where the citrus was untamed and so was the leather. I didn't want any kind of balance to take away from those. Can you guys hear him? It's the weirdest sound. I usually don't, I usually edit this out when he's on my lap, but you know, we're talking about fragrances. This is a kind of a very informal video, so I'll leave the little kitty sounds in there. Now he's up on here. You'll see him as there's tail. This one, I wanted the citrus, I wanted the opening to not be balanced, but I wanted it to work in harmony. So, I'm so sorry, sorry. This is a fun video. So for me, I wanted the citrus to be very strong. I wanted it to be very pronounced, and I definitely wanted it to linger long enough to where the smell kind of saturated the leather note a little bit. Sometimes the opening notes can disappear so quickly and then they don't get to commingle with the base notes, and it just depends on the base notes how long it takes for them to be like really be pronounced. And this one, the citrus note really came out strong, and it was a beautiful citrus note. It was probably exactly what I was looking for, and so it was a very strong contender. It was the first one I smelled. I'm like, we found it. And then I smelled the others. So this one had the strongest opening, had the strongest opening, and there are things about it that the other ones don't have, but one of the reasons why I think that these are perfect is because just because there's aspects of one doesn't mean that we can take those aspects and put it in others, or that those aspects would work. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to layer and just figure out and make sure that this is exactly what it's supposed to be. But for the most part, I really can't see anything else being more perfect than one of these three. So the next one is E, and I'm going to spray this way up here. I sprayed this here before, and this is where I sprayed them initially too. I sprayed it there. Hi, buddy. It's pancakes. And this one, let me give it a second to say. Now, I don't have a full list of notes of these fragrances, so I'm not going to sit here and say this one is this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. In fact, I kind of wanted to go into it blind, not knowing exactly what was in here, because I didn't want to be biased based on a love or hate of a specific note. I wanted to smell it blind and say this is pretty much what I wanted. And so this one, so when I'm sitting here and I'm saying it kind of smells like this, this, and this, I don't really know what's in these things except for the base of a citrus, a leather, and a jasmine. So E was the one initially that I was kind of like, oh, but as it dried down, I was really, really into it. So this one smells very similar to a very heavy ambrette fragrance, but it has this beautiful leather undertone and this very crisp citrus opening. And as it dries down, you get more of the leather. The leather in E is the least pronounced. And compared to D, The D probably from the three is the leather is the most pronounced with that juicy or citrus opening. What I like about E is out of the three, it's kind of the most alien. It's the one that's a little bit more striking and unique from the other ones. It's less familiar, but also more familiar because it feels like it's a little bit more minimalistic, but the notes are really playing a larger part. I also like the fact that this doesn't smell like any other leather scent I've smelled. All these other scents, leather is one of those notes where it's very pronounced, it's very specific. You smell leather and you smell leather. And I love leather scents. That's why I wanted it to be a part of this thing. And my mom was like, oh, leather. She's one of those people where she doesn't like leather scents, and she loved all the things that she tried. So it's about kind of imagining leather scents, and I think E out of the three is one of them where it's definitely something unique and different. It's not like a leather scent with a different blend of notes to kind of make the leather come out more. It's a uniquely refreshing take on leather. It's very crisp, it's very wearable. You have the beautiful jasmine in there, you have the strong, sharp kind of citrus opening, which I really, really liked. Initially, this is the one I liked the least out of the three, but the more I smelled it, the more it really grew on me, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a hard decision. So yeah, that's where we're at now. It's one of the scents also too that the longer you wear it, the citrus becomes a little bit warmer. It doesn't stay as long as the first one, D, but it does have a nice lifespan to the fragrance too, so it does kind of commingle a little bit with the leather. All right, and then my cat's being so good, I'm not being interrupted, I'm flying through this. The last one is F. Now what I love about F is that this is almost like if I were to close my eyes and try to create the scent myself. This is pretty dang diddly close to what I would have it be. But that's probably one of the things that would make me not choose it, except that it smells so perfect. F to me smells like the least a bit of wildness, a more wearable, safe scent, but it's still got a lot of different things going for it. I feel like it has a lot of Sarah's charm in its soul, like you smell it and there's a bit of whimsy and magic in there, but it's more one of the more safe fragrances. And I love it. You know, I'm not sitting here, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's the worst out of the three. There's things about each of these scents that work for and against them, but I can't imagine like another variation of this. I think that if we tried to add or tweak anything else, then it would start to lose its integrity. And that's why I kind of wanted to keep I wanted it to be perfect, and I would, we would do it until it was perfect, but I didn't want to like beat a dead horse. And so when I smelled the three of these, I was like, one of these are it, because but there's something about each of them that kind of, there's pros and cons to each. So the con to F is also the pro to F, which is, in my mind, this is how the scent would smell. But after smelling D and E, there's things about those that I just wouldn't have imagined to mix or to have it smell like, and I'm so impressed with those that, that's why those are strong contenders as well. It's not just immediately F. So this one to me smells, the citrus is juicy, but it's like a grapefruit juice, so it's not a sweet juiciness. It's got a slight sharpness to it, just a little bit, that works really, really nicely and makes it very bright. But at the same time, the jasmine in here, to me, it's stronger than the other two, which is what I really wanted. I wanted a very strong jasmine scent. But I feel like because of that and the leather, this comes off, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, it comes off as more wearable, a little bit more simplistic. And that's kind of like what I was saying. If I were to create this scent, I would say, well, these are the notes I want to be the most predominant. I want it to be a little bit more warm, maybe I want it to be a little bit more waxy, maybe I want it to be a little bit more resinous or more bright in the opening, and I would mix them all together with the things that I had experience with, which isn't that much, and I'd create something. I'd be like, I love this because I love it, but what I wanted was somebody's unique take and experience, and that is what D&E give me. They give me Sarah's unique point of view in taking something and really creating magic out of it. That doesn't mean that F isn't perfect, and I could very well end up with F. I'm going to wear all these over the next week or two, and these are fairly new fragrances. I really want them to kind of sit and mature. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably won't wear these for a week and just kind of let them sit and stew, or I think it's mensurate is the correct word. If it's the wrong word, feel free to educate me below. And then I'm going to wear them again and kind of come to a decision. And I might decide after they sit for a while they're not perfect and there's something else that needs to be changed. So that could very well be the case. But overall, to me, F smells like, in my mind, if I was going to do this myself, if I came to F, I would be so dang proud of myself for creating something so beautiful and wearable. And so yeah, that's what I get from F. It's a stronger citrus. It's a very pronounced jasmine. And it's a really beautiful leather, and there's a few little things in the background that are making all of those notes work really well together. Do not get me wrong, it's blended beautifully, but yeah, it's gorgeous, you guys. I'm gonna wear these and I'm gonna love these, but don't eat that. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if you guys know, this is a telescope. I had one of my cats trying to eat it. That's the life of being a cat owner. If you guys don't know, Beauty Meow is quite literal. I have 8 cats, and this one's still here. He's still over here. Here he is, this Pancakes. And one of the new kittens was eating a telescope, because that's just what cats do, is they eat telescopes. Anyway, let's sum up this video, because I feel like I've been talking way too long, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So overall, so far, this project has been so exciting, so amazing. I've just over the moon, and working with Sarah has been a dream. She has just been so giving and so charitable and just so on board with this entire process. I could not imagine doing it and creating this fragrance with anyone else but her. So again, I'm so just blown away by her generosity and her charity and her artistry and her experience and her passion and her talent. Just speak the moon to that amazing woman. And these 3 scents are magnificent to me. Like absolutely magnificent. And I don't want you guys to think that I smelled the first batch and the second batch and then I was immediately like, I love it. Yeah, and I was critical of this because I asked you guys to back this project blind, although again, you guys can return it if you don't like it. It comes with a sample. I wanted to make sure that I'm putting my name to this. I'm putting my reputation on the line. Sarah's doing the same thing too, trusting me to choose something. You know, this is going to be released under her house. You know, like there's definitely a lot more than just blind excitement that came to this. Very critical of this. There were definitely things about the initial ones that I loved but didn't work for this particular vision. And so it was just kind of paring it down and figuring it out and the like. And I love the fact that Sarah definitely has her unique point of view that is not lost. I smell these scents and these do smell like her creations. And I love the fact that her voice is so loud in each of these scents. Maybe some more than the others, but I also wanted this not to be like, you know, Kristin's fragrance. I wanted it to be like a commissioned artwork. I'm a painter. I don't know if you guys know that. I am a painter. I'm working on some huge paintings over there. I do a lot of commissioned artwork. And when I work with people, I say, you know, you're hiring me. I mean, I will create your vision. What do you want? And I've had some crazy things which are really awesome, and the crazier the better. I love painting that kind of stuff. But, you know, when you're hiring an artist, you're hiring their point of view, you're hiring their experience, you know, you want their creation. And, you know, I say the same thing about getting a tattoo. You know, when you go to a tattoo artist with a piece of art, you know, it really benefits you to surrender to their experience, because they might be like, this might look good on paper, this is not going to look good on your skin. I'm going to change it up and I'm going to make it work. And more often than not, it's so much better when you trust your tattoo artist. And I know that from experience. I've got a lot of ink. And that's what I wanted this project to be, is I wanted this project to, I'm commissioning Sarah. I'm commissioning her point of view. I'm commissioning that experience, that vision, but it's also mine. And so when I got these fragrances and when I was working with her, I was very like, this is what I want. This is what I want it to smell like. And she was able to interpret what I wanted so quickly and really well. And that's, again, just her immense talent at being able to, and she's worked with other people and she's created fragrances for other people. And that's another reason why she's so fantastic, is she's able to interpret exactly what I wanted so quickly. Because this isn't me, you know, the second round, this isn't me saying, oh, you know, let's get this out there sooner rather than later. I'm just going to settle. I wasn't going to settle on these scents. And I was blown away by the first round. And I am pretty much blown away by the final round, which are these three. So to kind of sum it up again, I know this video is very long, I'm very sorry, but I kind of like to update you guys and talk about this project because this whole process has just been amazing. These three fragrances, each of them have something that's pro and something that's against. To me, D has the strongest opening out of the whole bunch. The citrus is really beautiful. It lasts long enough to really commingle with the leather, and just overall, it's just absolutely fantastic. The con is that the jasmine's a little bit less pronounced, and I want to see, and although it's very beautiful and I love it, do not get me wrong, I wish the jasmine was more predominant. Now, something you guys may not know due to regulations, Sarah has added the legal limit to the amount of jasmine that she can to these scents. We are not legally allowed to add more jasmine. So she can't really tweak this in the jasmine, and I'm afraid if she were to tweak the opening or the base, it would ruin the balance of the scent, and the scent has a really beautiful balance. Specifically, I love how the opening really plays beautifully with the dry down and the base notes. And, you know, I would be willing to forgive the, not lack of jasmine, but the not it being super pronounced, because those other aspects of it are really, really beautiful. So that's the pros and cons of this. The pros and cons of letter E is that this smells a little bit more alien. This smells a little bit more bizarre, more avant-garde, more otherworldly. It's got a variant, I don't know if it has ambret in there, but it smells like it has like a very pronounced ambret note that is so unique and so beautiful with everything else. The citrus in this one lasts a little bit longer, but it doesn't have that bright blast like the first one does. And overall, this one settles on the skin really beautifully, and it kind of comes together as less of a symphony where you can really pick out all the different instruments. Like there's the flute, there's the guitar, there's the cello, you know, there's the violin, you know, how some of her other fragrances do, where it's just this cyclone of notes, but you can pick them all out and it just works together. This is kind of more of a well-blended medley, or a song or a tune where everything kind of comes together to create one beautiful sound. And I love that, you guys. I love both ideas of something being kind of not well blended, or, you know, but harmonized. And this is something that's way more harmonized and well blended. So this one has a lot of unique take to it, and I'm actually really interested to see how this one will mature, because I have a feeling that this one will probably not change completely, but it will definitely change enough to maybe where this will be the winner, because this is a stunning scent. If you guys, I was so blown away by this one. So I just have a feeling like this one is like 99.9% there, but I'm hoping that when it matures, it'll be 100% there. So this one is, that's what my thoughts are, this one. And F, you guys, this is if I were to create this with no experience, with the best ingredients, this is what I would dream and hope I could accomplish. It doesn't mean I'd be able to, but this is pretty much like a prompt, like checklist, like it has this opening, it has this middle, it has this dry down, it smells like this, it develops like this. This hits all those notes. It's quite literally the fragrance I wanted to create, and that is beautiful. But the only thing I have against this scent is that of these 3 scents, this one smells like the one where Sarah's voice is least pronounced. And that's kind of like what I meant, like it was something I create. I want to see how this develops, because if I were to close my eyes and smell these and choose one, this would be the winner. Absolutely. Absolutely would be the winner. And there's something about this scent that I'm going to enjoy wearing. I'm going to be wearing these scents long after I have this scent created. I love all of these things. I'm definitely going to be wearing them, but this one just hits all those notes. It's really easy, beautiful, bright citrus opening. You've got the nice jasmine in there, which isn't too crazy. It's just a beautiful kind of grungy, dirty jasmine. And then you've got this really just fantastic leather base. I mean, it's pretty more minimalistic than the others is the best way I can describe it. It doesn't mean that it is, it just comes off that way. And the only thing that kind of makes me not choose that one initially is because it feels like less of Sarah's voice is in the scent, and I want her voice to be very pronounced. So I want to see how that one, I would definitely like to see how that one develops, how it matures, because citruses and these notes, fragrances definitely need to mature. These are baby scents, they were just created. So I definitely want to give them a week or two before I decide to see how they smell after they've kind of been sitting and stewing and letting the notes kind of marry together. Anyway, this video has been super duper long, a lot longer than I anticipated, but I really wanted to sit down and talk to you guys. So just to recap for you guys, I'm going to be, once everything is ordered, once everything is shipped, once people have decided that they're going to keep the bottle or return the bottle and all that jazz, I'm going to be having a dedicated video talking to you guys about how much the donation is. You guys will know the exact amount of money that is being donated, and I'm going to be breaking it down for you guys because, like I said, I'm not keeping a penny. Not a penny is going into my account. So I want to make sure that you guys know exactly how much this all cost, and I want to be transparent so you guys know exactly how much is going to charity. Again, just because it costs this much for me to do this, this is because of Sarah's enormous generosity. That does not mean that this is what it costs to commission a fragrance from Sarah, and this also doesn't mean that this is what it costs in general to create a fragrance or to create this many fragrances. This entire process has been a labor of love from fragrance lovers, also to benefit a charity. So there's been a lot, and I mean a lot, of people being very generous with their time and money and resources to make sure that a larger amount of money can go to charity. So I really just kind of want to emphasize that. Whatever the case though, when it comes down to this project would not have been doable without you guys and without Sarah, and just the fact that we are almost done, we are almost there. Now it's kind of like the fun like presentation, coming up with a name and just figuring all of that jazz out. We are almost at the end. We're almost ready to create the fragrances and ship these out, and I am so ridiculously excited. So again, I want to reach out to each and every one of you and just personally thank you, but it's hard because there's so many of you. So just take this video and that kitty and just know that I am so grateful and so thankful for making this project possible, and I'm looking forward to catching you guys up on more. In any case, guys, I'm going to end this video here. I have a lot of editing to do. It's going to be a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back to my regularly reviewing schedule after this. So anyway, thanks so much, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.